Thank you for tuning in to TTV. I'm your host, Toya, and today is Magnificent Monday. So beautiful Monday. And I hope yours is getting off to a good start, good day. As you can tell from the title, is speaking with my elders. And I don't know, have you ever had that time when you felt like you wish you had somebody older and wiser that you could talk to? That there was somebody that you can go to for like advice or just to speak your mind, like a shoulder to cry on, whatever the case may be. Have you ever wanted to experience that? Well, that was something I had longed for. Okay, I longed for that in my life, and I wish that I had somebody like that, to where there was an elder I can go to, so when I'm having troubles or having problems, I have somebody I can sit down and talk to. Well, what happened was, um, and I've been saying it all week. I do all my videos on the same day, so it's actually Tuesday and I'm filming this, not Monday, and so I got this head cold still going on. But today should be the last day that I have it. But you wouldn't know that till Thursday. Anyway, um, yeah. So going back to the elders thing, so it was one of the things that I really, really longed for, and what ended up happening for me is my relationship started to develop with my ancestors. Okay, so I could ask questions, listen for them for their guidance, things like that. But to actually have somebody to sit down and talk to, especially when there's a lot of stuff that's going on, that I'm going through or I deal with, that was where that longing was, that heart wrenching longing. And I didn't know exactly how deep that longing was until I was in therapy, and it came up in therapy. So it was one of the things that I missed the most about being in this world at this time, is having somebody that I could go to, an elder. And what was communicated to me from my ancestors was that they are my elders, and that I can just sit down and talk to them whenever it is I need to. And it doesn't have to just be on the stuff that they're guiding me towards or the stuff that I'm working on, that it can be towards anything I need. Not just that, that they are simply here to help me with whatever it is that I need. And so I did it. I sat down and I poured my heart out to them about how much I wish I had an elder and how much it means to me. And I could feel their energy all around me. I could feel the love all around me. And it brought such a comfort and such a peace. And now I don't have that longing for that anymore, because I know that they're always there. So if you've ever lost somebody, somebody passed away or just not here, even if they just not physically here, like maybe they're in the army or something, they stationed elsewhere. And when you sit down to meditate, you can go into that meditative state where you calm, relax yourself. But when you go to speak, or when you go to your thought process, talk to that person and do it out loud. Talk to them out loud. Speak those words out loud, as if they were in the room. And imagine them sitting there with you. If you're not to the point where you can feel your ancestors and stuff around, or feel the spirits around you, then imagine it. Sit there and imagine them around you. Imagine what that would feel like. Imagine y'all sitting at a table, drinking a cup of tea or coffee, whatever it is that brings comfort to you, for you to feel okay with talking to them. And talk to that person. And eventually you do that enough and do that for long enough, you'll start to feel their presence. You'll start to feel them come into your space. And then once you get to that point, you'll start to have an understanding. Now, for me, I don't know how it is for everybody else. But for me, and the way I explained it to my therapist as well, is she asked me, what does it sound like? Like, how do my ancestors talk to me? Like, is it a voice in my head, or, like, how does that come through? And I'm going to tell her the same thing. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told her, which is, it's like if emotions were words. That's the best way I could put it, is if emotions were words. Like, they speak through feeling, and sometimes pictures with it. So sometimes I might see images in my head along with the feeling. And that's answering questions that I have. That's them making their presence known. Sometimes they speak as a thought. It could be a thought in your head. One of the ways I explain that part, yeah, I'll go with that. One of the ways I explain that part is that a lot of times we have thoughts that we can trace. But then you have these other thoughts, so you're like, where did this come from? And you can't figure out where that thought came from. A lot of times that's your guards and your guardians and your ancestors and everybody that's around you trying to speak to you. So I'll give you an example. So if we're talking about the hostess apple pies, okay? And I'm sitting there like, how did we get to hostess apple pies? And then it was like, oh, that's right. We was talking about going to church. And then I was talking about how when I was a kid after church, I would end up at my great uncle and aunt's house, and how they always had this bag because they would go to the bag of treats for me and my sister and my cousin, because they would go to the hostess factory and they would, get the discounted stuff and put it in our bag. And they always made sure I had the apple pie. Clear line of thought, clear line of how you got from church to apple pie. Okay. Now, if for some reason I thought about that, was just keep it up with the hostess apple pie, and I don't know how it came. Like, I was thinking about going to the zoo and looking at the gorillas when this feeling of the apple pie came up, and I could see or feel this warm, nostalgic feeling. Where did this thought come from? How did I get to this point? And you can't trace it back. That's usually them communicating with you. And it could be something that's just as simple as just letting you know they're here. You know that you're not alone, just letting you know I'm here. You remember this? Just like that, just as if they were standing there. So there's different ways of doing it. Like I said, you can use meditation to get through, to actually talk to your elders. But once you get to a point where you start to understand and pay attention to the thoughts in your head, the feelings that are around you, what pops up in your mind, what do you see when you meditate, speaking to them out loud. Once you get to the point where you do that on a regular basis, it gets a lot easier for you to communicate and understand what it is that they're saying back to you. Will you always get it right? No. I mess up sometimes, misinterpret something, and all they do is guide me back to where they were trying to get me to go, or they'll use somebody or something around me to, get me back in the right direction. So just keep your eyes and ears open, keep your mind open for it. And talk to your elders. If you're missing elders, or you're missing somebody that used to be around, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever, cousin, friend, talk to them. Use that time meditating to talk to them. They're still there. They'll communicate back with you. They'll let you know, but you have to pay attention to make sure you get that message back. So that's it for today. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. Because if you got something out of it, chances are someone else will as well. So why not share it with those you know, love, and care about, right? So, y'all, I took the skull cap earlier. It is really messing with me. That's why I'm so calm and relaxed. That's why y'all see me kind of fading. Because I need to go lay down and sleep this stuff off. Like I'm telling y'all. I think this is better than valerian root. But anyway, skull cap. I did a video on it Tuesday. But anyway, I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.